What up, guys? I'm working on. I got my stator. So, like I said, if you saw it on the Facebook page, I've got my. It said it was going to be like accidental broadcast last video where he's messing with the stator so much. So it's funny that it came across like that because I had ordered this last week and it just showed up today. So now I'm going to start putting it in. It's cold as fuck out here. Here it is. I ordered it from rectifier.com. It's a OEM stator that's been rewound. And if you can see that yellow wire, running that yellow wire through gives me another lead out for the output voltage, or output wattage. It only puts out 35 watts, but if you can see here, I just swapped my headlight for a 1000 lumen Cree LED light. So my draw is going to be real low, and I'm actually going to use this in junction with that, which is my regulator rectifier. And I also ordered this is going to go in, and what I'm going to use the stator for, instead of running my lights directly, because it'll do that thing where you've seen a bike where when it comes to a rest, as the idle goes down, the light gets dimmer, and that's not a problem really, but I'd prefer to have like a solid output. So what I'm going to do is run this to here and run this, so try and get this to stay up, run my stator to the rectifier to my battery, out of my battery to my light. And what it's going to do is that, because I've got such low draw on my battery, that it's going to keep it charged. And then that way I've got full output on my lights, and I've got a good charging system. So it's like a rudimentary style of charging system for my bike. I'm not going to do the thing where I like post a camera up somewhere behind me so you guys can see whatever I'm doing. I'm going to keep one next to me, and I'll click it on and off every once in a while so I can show you what's going on. So I got it off. Here's my stock stator, and I'm gonna pull all that stuff off. And it's got the same routing. It's such a small thing. Like, I was used to my WR, which had this big fat stator, and had a bunch of coils on it, and it's produced like, because the WR stator puts out like 100 watts of power, I think is what it puts out. And this bike, like this stator's only gonna put out like 35 watts. I probably, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have gotten a different stator gasket, but that one's not ripped. And I have a box full of parts that came with this bike when I got it, so I might look in there and see if I've got another stator cover gasket. Oh, the other thing I can't express enough that is important when you're fixing a bike, even if you're doing something small where you're not really getting into the motor that much, like I just took out 8 bolts, and but it's staying organized with this kind of stuff, because like this is like a little tackle box from a fishing department at a department store, like a Walmart or wherever. But keeping all the bolts in line and all your little pegs, I don't know what those things are called, the little standoffs that fit in these holes, the gasket lineup spots. I'm gonna put that back in. That's my oil drain plug. But it just makes things going in easier. So I'm gonna pull my stator out and we'll put the other one in. New stator's in. Woo. Here's my old one. I still have to clip all those zip ties and unroute it because it's routed way the fuck up there, and I haven't taken my gas tank off yet. So I'm going to clip those zip ties, and I'm going to put the case back on, and then I will get to the job of pulling my bike all the way apart so I can get into the case. The other thing I have to figure out is where in the hell I'm going to put that regulator. There's no real, like, it doesn't tell you to put it anywhere. I mean, I guess I could put it right there. I don't know where I could put it. I'll find somewhere. I just gotta find 2 bolts that are equally distanced apart, I guess. There it is. So you've seen the clutch side of my bike wide open. Here's the stator side. Woo, aren't you excited? Oh, so I made that little clip, and then I remembered that I was an idiot. So those bolts look just like little Allen heads, you know? Like, they look like they would just come out with an Allen key. And I put a 4 in there, and I thought, it feels loose, and I'll try and twist it. Well, don't do that, because you see those little tiny slivers in the top of the peaks? Yeah, that's a Torx bit. And luckily enough, I have, if I can find it, I have a set of Torx. That's what these are. So if you ever come across these, they call them star bits or Torx, or these are security Torx because they've got the hole in the middle. I don't know how well focused that is. You see it? Those are security Torx, and these ones in there are just Torx bits. Torx are okay, I guess, for internal stuff because they don't want you fucking with it too much, that they should just, it's okay that they put them in there. I usually hate Torx, but it is what it is. So I'm glad I figured that out before I really fucked up my case, because that would have sucked. Old Stator's out. It's funny, alright, so I paid like $250 for that new Stator, this one that's in there now, and all it was for that little yellow wire. Now I gotta figure out where to put this. That's the next goal, figure out where we got it. Got the case back on, I reused my gasket. I had another one in the parts box like I said I probably would, but I don't really trust it because it's not in a package, so I'm not sure if it's, I think it's the old one. Because when I bought this bike, the guy told me that it had been completely rebuilt, like all the way through the motor, so meh, I'm not gonna mess with it, and that other gasket was in good shape. So now I'm just gotta figure out where to put this regulator, and then I can worry about wiring it. I just figured out where to get my regulator mounted, and most bikes mount them like here, but as you can see, I'm missing the spots. So I mounted it in there. Now my bike's filthy, it's whatever. So I mounted it in there. It doesn't need much heat flow because it's not going to get a lot of heat to it, and that gives me a good place to route all my wiring, so it's real clean looking. I can come up through the hole in my frame right there and get down to my battery. I didn't think I was going to be done today because I've got to rewire my bike pretty much. But the thing I can't figure out is like what these wires go to. So these two wires are positive battery, negative battery. I understand that much. And what the little diagram shows is that these two wires go to this. But I think on some of their other stators there must be two of these wires. Because, I don't know, I don't really understand. This one does something else. This one's like a DC voltage switch. I don't know. I emailed the company and see what they say about it. But this is where it sits right now. I'm going to come back. I gotta work all weekend. I'll come back on Monday and get it all set up. And hopefully I'll have an answer by then. So it took a couple days to actually get the instructions done the right way to put my stator on. And to wire it to the regulator because it's single phase, not dual phase, which is the instructions they sent me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wire in my battery leads and get all my connections hooked up, and then I'm going to try and run this stator today. I don't know, I'm going to put some stuff together and let you guys see me do some electrical work and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how interesting it'll be, but we'll see if you guys like it. And then I'm going to run all the wiring. I think I'm going to redo my entire wiring loom for my bike because I've got to run an inline fuse with this whole thing. And so this will give me a chance to get it all put together. Yeah, I want to change I gotta change the coloring anyways because I've got red and white right now as my positive and negative. I'm going to go more code and go black and red because that seems to make more sense. But either way, so why did I do that? Whatever. So got my wire, got all my tools. I'm going to go through and start getting this all set up. Wired as it says to do in the wiring diagram. So one wire goes to the stator, this wire goes to ground, this one's capped off, this is a DC switch, and positive and negative on the battery. Now to run everything. finished. So here we go. Pull my airbox, clean my airbox out because it was gross. Battery zip tied in. It's the only way I have to clean it or connect it. All my connections and everything running through, zip tied together. They run down here. My stator is up under my tank down here. I don't know if you can see it all the way back there. It's my, or not my stator, my RR is down here. Wiring runs up into there. My little wiring loom that runs across. That's a bullet connector. And then down in there is my new headlight. And I'm gonna fill in that space somehow, but I haven't figured out how yet. My new switch, my light working. Tail light working. It still doesn't have the blinking functionality. I'm gonna wire that in later because I already have the switch here in my. I have a hydraulic switch up here in my master cylinder. But everything is wired in and it's all buttoned back together. Now I can just see how well it works. Took 3 days. It was a big project. Completely rewired my bike, cleaned it all up, soldered things, made better connections, pulled out some wires. It was bugging me, and now I'm better at wiring, so that's a good thing, and now it's all clean. I think I'm going to write up a little, not a how-to because I didn't take enough pictures, but I'm going to do a wiring diagram for this bike so I know if I ever sell it I can tell somebody how the wiring runs. I also have another one of these headlights. My bench is gross, so don't judge me. These are my old batteries I used to run, and they suck. I have another light. That's the light I'm using. It's on eBay. I'll link it if you guys want me to. How did it get dented? But there it is. It's pretty bright. They're supposed to be 1,000 lumens. And there's my parts boxes with my old headlight, which that's like 35 watts. It can't be more than a couple hundred lumen. It's not very bright. So there it is. I got a new stator in. Now I'm going to be wired for lights. It's a good clean install. Ready to go. Next one you'll see me riding. I'll get to run it for an amount of time, and I'm probably going to put a volt meter on my bike just so I can keep track of what my battery voltage is looking like. Fresh oil, all the good stuff. So I put my air filter back in after I clean it, and I'll be good to go. Now you've seen both sides of the internals of my bike. Now I'm just going to split my cases and show you that. But I don't want to do that. Hopefully my transmission doesn't blow and I don't have to worry about it. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoy it. Peace.